Scary neighbors. A common type of neighbor feared by most local children. This is oftentimes due to misunderstandings, but with tiny builds, tiny tips, we'll help you get to the bottom of this mystery. In the game of Secret Neighbor, playing as the neighbor involves stealth, cunning, and knowing how to catch the players off guard. Neighbors have a few abilities up their sleeves to defend their basements. For starters, due to the fear he incites in children through rumors and hearsay, when players first lay eyes on the neighbor, their screens will shake for 5 seconds. This game mechanic applies to all neighbor types and provides a moment of opportunity for the neighbor to grab a player while they're caught off balance. The children must be looking at the neighbor for fear to take hold of them. Note that fear will repeatedly seize a child if they look away and look back at the neighbor. Beware though. Fear will not present itself if the neighbor is sneaking up on you, so be sure to watch your back. After 30 seconds into the start of the game, the neighbor will gain all of his abilities and be able to kidnap the players. In addition to his transform ability, the Scary Neighbor has the ability to disguise himself as any child in the game. When the disguise ability is used, the Scary Neighbor will copy the nearest child and take their form and name. He will not possess the child's abilities though. Disguises are also limited to the children remaining in the game. Once a certain player has been removed from the game, that disguise is no longer available to the neighbor. A useful approach to the disguise ability is to copy the nearest child and run in the opposite direction. Doing this will likely decrease your chances of running into the copied child and accidentally foil your plan to blend in with the crowd. Meanwhile, if you're a child and you happen to see two of the same character, or perhaps yourself running towards you, you might want to run away.
It's dangerous.
Ooh, you're not me! No, you're not me!
The Scary Neighbor can also use traps to ensnare the players as they explore his house. These traps will stun and damage players for 8 seconds. A trap can be placed every 3 seconds, and the neighbor can use unlimited traps. But don't worry, kids. While there is an appeal to unlimited traps and the potential for the neighbor to completely trap a room, using too many traps can sometimes backfire on the neighbor. If you're the neighbor, it's best to keep traps far apart and to place them where you know players will pass by frequently, such as doorways and around corners. You can also turn off the lights to help hide your traps as well. Please note that traps cannot be picked up, but they can be destroyed by throwing an item into them. The neighbor can also trap himself in his own traps though, if he isn't careful while he is in the child form. But he can walk over his own traps safely while in the neighbor form. As the neighbor, if you can combine the traps with glue and place the traps strategically, you can take on multiple players at once while defending your basement.
Oh man.
Mad Crappuccino run! Mad Crappuccino run!
Systematic annihilation.
Yeah.
One by one. In a row.
That's awesome.
The Scary Neighbor's ultimate ability is Rage. As the neighbor takes damage, causes damage, or has a player knocked out of his hands, he will gradually get angry to the point of being enraged. Upon activating Rage, the neighbor's eyes will glow red. He will recover a portion of his health, receive a speed boost, making him faster than a sprinting child, and he will become invulnerable to all attacks. Rage lasts a total of 4 seconds and can be a useful ability to turn the tide against a group of players. The neighbor will lose all of his accumulated anger if he transforms into a child or if he doesn't take damage or deal damage for 5 seconds. If you manage to defeat the neighbor, he will respawn in his hideout and be unable to move for 20 seconds, giving you plenty of time to search for keys and make some moves. Some final notes about the neighbor you should know. The neighbor has increased health compared to being in a child form. However, the neighbor does not have the stamina of a child and can only run short distances. Unless you have Rage to use as a speed boost or a speed item equipped, it's recommended you switch back and forth between child and neighbor forms when you need to chase players over long distances. Switching back and forth between the neighbor and child forms can also reduce the likelihood of you sneezing. The neighbor has a powerful sneeze that can give away his position if he is in the neighbor form for too long. Finally, the neighbor can hide in closets, peek out, and ambush unsuspecting players. If you can predict where a child will search, you can set up a nice ambush and potential jump scare. On that note, we hope this episode of Tiny Builds, Tiny Tips wasn't too scary for you. We'll see you next week. Until then, be sure to keep an eye on your neighbor.
Oh god. Oh my god. Alright. Neighbor's hiding in a closet.